Good morning, students. How are you? Started studying first unit? I think you have completed also notes along with me. Okay, so in a previous video we studied the events of a sexual reproduction. What are the different events of a sexual reproduction? Pre-fertilization events, fertilization and post-fertilization events. So today first we will start with the sexual reproduction in a flowering plants. You must understand, recall the different parts of the flower. You are able to see on the screen the reproductive structure of the flower are androecium and gynoecium. Have a look on these first parts of a flower. You might be able to recall. So there are 4 circles or 4 parts of the flower. The green leafy like structure is nothing but a sepal. So collection of sepal is termed as calyx. The colorful part of the flower leafy like structure is nothing but a petals. Collection of petals is corolla. Sepals and petals, they are non-essential part of the reproduction. They only take care of the reproductive part. They protect the reproductive part of the flower. So what are the reproductive parts? You are able to see here. So this is termed as androecium or stamens, male gametophyte or stamen. Okay, collection of stamens is termed as androecium, and in the center this green color you are able to see. This is nothing but a pistil or carpel or the gynoecium. Once again a revision: sepals, green color leafy like structure; petals, colorful part leaf like structure of a flower. This is androecium or a stamens, that is the male gametophyte, contains 2 units. This is the anther, and thread like structure is nothing but a filament. This anther part produces the pollen grain, which is nothing but a male sex cell. Pollen grain is nothing but a male sex cell. And this is the gynoecium or pistil or carpel, female gametophyte. Male gametophyte is made up of with the 2 units, anther and filament, but female gametophyte is made up of with the 3 units. Uppermost stigma, this is thread-like structure, style, and this swollen portion is nothing but a ovary. Okay, so what are the 4 circles? Sepals, petal, stamen and carpel or pistil. Okay, now you just see once again the theory part. The reproductive structure of a flower are androecium and gynoecium. The male reproductive structure is androecium and it consists of whorl of stamen. Okay, now stamen. Stamen, it has a cylinder stalk called filament. At the tip it contains a bilobed structure called anther. Generally anthers are bilobed. That contains 2 theca. Theca, die means 2 theca, 2 layers separated by longitudinal groove. And the transverse section, TS means transverse section of anther, consists of 4-sided microsporangia to each lobe. You are able to see here now. Now you are able to see this is the structure. This is the anther and filament. Anther and filament. This is one lobe and another lobe. Both are joined by a filament. Okay, and this is the transverse section. Filament containing a vascular. In center it contains a vascular bundle. Four microsporangia are there. Okay, we will study in more detail. The transverse section of an anther consists of a 4-sided microsporangia, 2 in each lobe. Microsporangia develops into a pollen sac. Inside this pollen grain are present. Now here you just see. Able to see? This is the basically anther and thread-like structure filament. If you take a cross section, this is the anther. Okay, bilobed. एक ये lobe हो गया, ये दूसरा lobe हो गया, and they are joined with the vascular bundles. Okay, now and this 1, 2, 3, 4. These are the 4 microsporangia which helps in a formation of male gamete, that is pollen grain. Okay, this is nothing but a filament. Now, structure of sporangia. You can study 2 marks question can be asked on the structure of microsporangia, or they may be asked the diagram of a microsporangia. Microsporangium is surrounded by 4 layers. The outermost layer is epidermis. You are able to see? Now see. This is the outermost. Epi means outermost layer. This is the vascular bundle. These are the microsporangia. Okay. So, outermost layer is single layer of a protective cells. Second layer, that is endothecium. It is a single layer of a cells, has the character of dehiscence. Dehiscence means what? बाहर जो पोलन ग्रेन है सेल से बाहर देने के लिए या रप्चर होने के लिए. This is the portion which helps in a giving out the pollen grain outside. It helps in a release of the pollen grains. The dehiscence character is due to their hygroscopic nature. Middle layer, it is formed by 3 to 4 layers, and tapetum, it is the innermost layer of the microsporangia which provide nutrition to the developing microspore. Now you must see, if you take the, see, this is the one microsporangia elaborated structure. This is the epidermis, then endotheca, microsporangia, which produces the pollen grain which contain in center. This is the, now here, this is the endothecium, pollen grains, epidermis, and this is nothing but a tapetum which provides the nourishment to the developing pollen grain. Now you are able to see here in more detail. Bilobed anther filament. This is the anther. Cross section of anther is this. This is the filament which contain a vascular bundle, 4 sporangia, 4 sacs which contain, every sac contain microsporangia. Micro means male gametophyte. Okay, this is the pollen sac. The outermost layer is epidermis. The next one is the fibrous structure. The third one is the tapetum which provide the nourishment to the developing pollen grain. These are the pollen grains are produced, and this is the pollen mother cell which helps in a formation of the cells by mitotic division. Okay. Now microsporogenesis. Microsporogenesis. It is microspores means the process of formation of microspores. Simply, microsporogenesis is nothing but the process formation of a microspores from the pollen mother cells by meiotic cell division, because meiosis helps in a formation of gametes and mitosis helps in a formation of cells. The microspores formed are clusters of 4 cells called microspore tetrad. Tetrad means 4. As the anther matures, it dehydrates and the microspores dissociate and develops into a pollen grain. Now pollen grain, structure of a pollen grain. This pollen grain structure can be asked for the 2 marks also. Pollen grains are spherical in shape. It has 2 layers. Outer layer is exine and inner layer is intine. Now see children, basically pollen grain is made up of with the 2 layer, as every time we are using the term internal, external, like so exine, EX, always it's a outermost layer. So outermost layer is made up of with the material or termed as exine, and the inner one is intine. Now the whole pollen grain is covered with the help of a exine made up of with the organic compound that is sporopollenin, and it is very hard. That's why whenever the pollen grain is carried, they are not able to rupture or dissolve. It is very hard and resistant organic compound. No one enzyme known to degrade this one. This enzyme has a prominent pore called germ pore. I'll show the germ pore to you. So germ pore, this is the place where the pollen grain develops a pollen tube. Just now we studied the pollen tube formation during the fertilization process, no? So in that this germ pore helps in a formation of a pollen tube. As the pollen grains mature, it contains two cells, a bigger vegetative cell and the smaller one is generative cell. Now here you are able to see the generative cell divides mitotically into two male gametes. Now here this is the haploid nucleus. It go for a mitotic division to produces the two cells. Okay. One cell is a generative cell and another one is, yes, vegetative cell. Okay. Now this is the tube nucleus and the outermost hard coat is termed as exine, made up of with the sporopollenin, and the inner one is intine. This is the mature structure of a pollen grain. Okay, now the structure of gynoecium. The gynoecium is the female reproductive part of a flower. It consists of pistil or a carpel. When only single pistil or a carpel is present, it is termed as monocarpellary. When more than two carpels or pistils are present, it is termed as multicarpellary. And monocarpellary means gynoecium consists of a single pistil. Multicarpellary, multiple or more than two gynoeciums are present. Syncarpous, when syn means what? Fused. Okay. When gynoecium is fused with the pistil is termed as syncarpous, and apocarpous when pistil is free. Join, fused, syncarpous, apo, free. Now this is the example of monocarpellary. What are the examples of a monocarpellary in single carpel or pistil? That is pea and beans. Multicarpellary, tomato and cucumber. In the center you are able to see many ovules are present. More than two ovules are present. Carpels are present. So they are termed as multicarpellary. Apocarpous and syncarpous. Apocarpous means what? Yes, free carpel. Pistil. Now each pistil has three parts: the stigma, style and ovary. You are able to see here. Stigma, style and ovary. Okay. Stigma is the tip of the pistil that serves as a landing platform for the pollen grains. Style, the style is the elongated cylinder part beneath the stigma, and ovary is the basal bulged part of the pistil. Now the cavity inside the ovary is called ovarian cavity, or you can also termed as locule. The megasporangia, commonly called ovules, arises from the placenta. The number of ovules in an ovary may be one, for example wheat, paddy, mango or many papaya, watermelon and orchids. Now megasporangia. Just now we studied the development of a microspora. Microsporangia means pollen grain development, and megasporangia means development of a female gametophyte, pistil or a carpel. Now the ovule is a small structure attached to the placenta with the stalk is called funicle. And the body of the ovule fuses with the funicle is called the hilum. Now here you just see the structure. So this is the portion micropyle, inner integuments, synergids. These are the whole nucleus, antipodal cells. These are the three antipodal cells, two polar bodies and three here lowermost three synergids. In between egg cell is present. These are the secondary cells or a polar nuclei. Okay children, you just remember, and this is the hilum. Okay, and this portion is termed as funicle. Clear? Now once again have a look. Each ovule has one or two protective envelopes called integuments. Integuments encircle the ovule except at the tip, and the small opening present at the tip is called micropyle. Opposite to the micropylar end, the chaliza is present. The lower portion, this is the micropyle and this is the chaliza region. It represents the basal part of the integument. The integuments encloses a mass of the cells called nucellus. These cells have abundant reserve food material. The embryonic sac or female gametophyte is located in the nucellus, and ovule generally has a single embryo sac formed from a megaspore through the reduction division. Now you must have the close to the slide. Now, as I told you, this portion is termed as chaliza, lowermost micropylar. This is the cell female megasporangium development. So, upper side 3 cell, lower side 3 cell, in center 2 cells. But they are considered as a single, 2 nucleated but single cell covered with the single membrane. 3 cells which are present on the upper side is termed as antipodal cell. These are the 2 cells is termed as polar bodies, and the lowermost 1 and 2, this 2, both the towards that side is termed as synergids, and in between the X cell is present. Okay, so children, pay attention once again now. Antipodal cell, synergids, X cell and polar nuclei. How many nucleus we will count? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 and 8. Means 8 nucleated but 7 celled. Sometimes the question may be asked, why the female embryo sac is 7 celled, 8 nucleated. You have to explain. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 nucleus, 3 upper side, 3 lower side, 3, 3, 6 and 2 nucleus in center. So how many? 8 nucleated but 7 celled. This is the single cell, 3 cells, 3 cells 6, and this is bounded by a single membrane. That's why it is considered as a single cell. So 7 celled and 8 nucleated. Now have a look on this slide for the explanation. The integument encloses a mass of the cells called nucellus. The cells have abundant reserve food material. The embryo sac of a female gametophyte is located in the nucellus, and ovule generally has a single embryo sac formed from the megaspore through the reduction division. Now, megasporogenesis. The process of formation of a megaspores from the megaspore mother cell is called megasporogenesis. Ovules generally differentiate a single megaspore mother cell, that is MMC, megaspore mother cell, in the micropylar region of the nucellus. The MMC undergoes meiotic division. Always remember, children, gametes are always formed through the meiosis. Okay. Now, the majority of the flowering plants, one of the megaspore is the functional, while other 3 degenerate. Only the functional megaspore develops into the female gametophyte. The nucell is diploid, MMC, megaspore mother cell is diploid. The functional is haploid and female gametophyte is haploid. Now have the look. Now see, this is the micropylar end and these are the nucellus. This is a megaspore mother cell. Micropylar end, megaspore dyad. Dyad means 2 cells are formed and they are covered with the nucellus. And here micropylar end, same, megaspore tetrad. See, this is the single megaspore mother cell. Go for a meiotic division, 2 cells are formed, then it changes into 4. Now the nucleus of the functional megaspore divides mitotically to form a 2 nuclei. These 2 moves to the opposite poles, forming a 2 nucleated embryo sac, and 2 more sequentially mitotic division results in the formation of 8 nucleated stages of the embryo sac. Just now I explained about the 8 nucleated and 7 cell. So see here, first mitotic division, 2 cells are formed, they go for a mitotic division 2 to 4 and then 8, and then these 8 cells are arranged in the female embryo sac. One nucleus from each pole comes to the center of embryo sac and they fuse together to form secondary nucleus, and the 3 nucleus at the chaliceal end forms. That is only the revision. Okay, synergids, antipodal cells, synergids, egg cell and polar nuclei. The 3 nuclei at the micropolar end organize into egg apparatus. They are identified into 2 synergies and the egg in between them. The angiosperm embryo sac is maturity through 8 nucleated, has a 7 cell. Now the process pollination. Transfer of a pollen grains to the stigma of a pistil is called pollination. Autogamy. Autogamy means transfer of a pollen grains from one anther to the stigma of the same flower, but might be in the same flower or in the same plant. So that is termed as autogamy. Simply एक ही plant पे एक ही flower में male और female flower दोनों रहेंगे तो they share their gametes. So that type of a pollination is termed as autogamy. In these flower, anther and stigma lie close to each other so that the self-pollination occur. Now, clistogamous or some plants produces 2 types of flower, viola, that is common pansy, oxalis and camelina. Flowers with exposed anther stigmas are called chesmogamous or chasmogamous flower. Flowers which do not open are called clistogamous. Clistogamy means simply the flower they do not open in their life. Without opening they fertilizes themselves inside the flower. That is the clistogamy. This is the example of clistogamous flower. Now gytenogamy. Transfer of a pollen grain from the anther to the stigma of the different flowers in the same plant is called gytenogamy. Genetically it is similar to autogamy because the pollen grains come from the same plant. Xenogamy. Now autogamy and gytenogamy as the example of self-pollination, but xenogamy, transfer of a pollen grain of an anther to the stigma of the different plant of the same species. दोनों plants अलग-अलग जगह है, but they share the male pollen grains are transferred to the female gametophyte stigmatic region. Now here we require the different media to transfer the pollen grains. Agents of the pollination might be wind, water, birds, animals. Okay. Agents of the pollination. Plants use 2 abiotic. Abiotic means non-living. Wind, water and 1 biotic animals agents to achieve the pollination. Majority of plants use biotic agents of a pollination. For only a small proportion of the plants use the abiotic agents. Anemophily. Now these are the different terms of a pollination. When the pollination occurred, the effect of the wind as and the agent is called anemophily. Hydrophily. The pollination occurred with the help of water. Hydrophily, zoophily, the pollination occurs with the help of animals. On the basis of different types of animals involved in once again classified into entomophily, the pollination occurred by the effect of insects as in agents called entomophily. Ornithophily, the pollination occurred by the effect of the bird. Ornithology is nothing but a study of birds. So, ornithophily is nothing but a transfer of a pollen grain with the help of birds. Entomophily means transfer of the pollen grain through insects. And you just remember this is the Chiropterophily is nothing but a pollination occurred with the help of bats. Anemophily through the, yes, it is the pollination by the wind. Some flowers are pollinated by wind. These plants produces lot of pollen grains because pollen grains through the air current they may deposit here and there. Most of the pollen grain get wasted. The anemophilous flowers are small and never colored. They are odorless, never produces nectar. Pollen grains are very small and dry and light. Stigmas are hairy, branched to trap pollen grains. floating in the air. Hydrophily, it is the pollination by the wind. Very few aquatic plants undergoes hydrophily. When the pollination occur below the water level is called hypohydrogamy. It's seen in the plant of Hydrilla. When the pollination occur at the level of at the water level is called epihydrogamic in the plants Vallisneria. In other aquatic plants like water hyacinth or Ikonia, water lily flower emerges out of the water and pollination occur by the winds and insect. In Vallisneria, the submerged aquatic plant and the male flower opens in the water surfaces. The released pollen grain floats on a water current. The pedicel of the flower floats elongates till it reaches the water surface to contact with the pollen grain. Zoophily, it is the pollination by the animals like insect, bees, wasps, birds, bats, etc. Majority of plants are pollinated by the insects. Entomophilous flowers have the characteristics as follows. Now, entomophilous means basically they are attracted by the insects. So the flower must be very attractive. They must produce the nectar to feed the insect, as well as they must be sticky, spiny, so that these sticky pollen grain get stuck with the animal body and they should be transferred. Yucca plant is pollinated by moth. The moth and the yucca cannot be complete their life without each other. The moth bores a hole in an ovary to lay its eggs. Then it collects pollen grain from several flowers and pushes in the hollow end of the stigma. After fertilization, seed develop. The larvae of the moth feed on the developing seed, and the unconsumed seed dispersed to propagation, and thus moth cannot survive without moth and yucca cannot reproduce sexually without moth. Now children, just now I have completed the sexual reproduction, basically fertilization process, pollination process. Just prepare the notes and go through once again this.